So now we're done with the primary valuation methodology for Amazon. So in this case, we used the discounted cash flow analysis. So we were able to estimate the enterprise value based on the DCF analysis and also the equity value, ultimately the equity value per share. So we had the enterprise value using the DCF analysis of roughly $2.2 trillion, and we had the equity value of roughly $1.9 trillion, and we also had the equity value per share of roughly $3.8 million per share. So this was estimated using the DCF analysis, and now we want to move on to the sum of the parts analysis, which is our another primary valuation methodology. So we're going to be performing the value of Amazon based on the sum of the parts analysis, and also we will also use another primary valuation measure, the value of Amazon, which is the precedent transaction. So let us move on to determining the value of Amazon based on the sum of the parts analysis. So before we do that, we can just move to the control panel tab and make sure that we have this referencing here to the base case. So we switch back to the DCF model. You can see that the intrinsic value per share now is roughly $5.1 million per share, which is our base case. That is, we're using the type of growth, annual growth of revenue. So in this case, we say that the revenue will grow less 20% year by year. So that's the annual type of growth rate for our base case. So now we can move on to estimating the sum of the parts analysis. So in this case, we will move to the sum of the parts analysis tab. So here, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to bring in the revenue generated by Amazon for its online physical stores, which is the first party business segment. And then we will use that revenue to derive the implied enterprise value based on its current trading multiple. So we will also go to the comps tab and bring in the current trading multiple here, so that we will multiply that revenue. We take that as a function of revenue to determine the implied enterprise value. So if we move to our financial statement here, let's move to the top. We can see that here we have the breakdown of revenue, the online physical stores, retail third-party seller services, we have subscription services, we have Amazon Web Services, which is the cloud services, and we also have other, which is advertisements. So this is the breakdown of revenue. You can see that for the physical stores, we have roughly $17 million of revenue generated in the year 2021 for the focus period. And also for the online stores, we see that it's roughly $2.4 billion of revenue generated. So we're going to be using these online stores and physical stores as the revenue generated to account for the implied enterprise value. So the revenue in 2021 is going to be our focus. If we switch to the comps tab, you can see here that we also have here the current trading multiples. We have here the low, mid, and we have the high, and we're going to be taking precisely here the EV to revenue. We're going to be taking precisely here the EV to revenue for the current trading multiple to arrive at the implied enterprise value of this business. So in this case, where we switch back to the sum of the parts analysis section here, and we just grab the revenue generated in 2021. So we go to the financial statements here. We grab here the revenue generated by the online stores in the year 2021 focus period. We can fill for the physical stores with Control D, that is the revenue generated, and we can sum the total revenue for the first party business segment, and then we can now move on to the comparable companies tab, where we have here the current trading multiples So we can switch, we can reference that in the comms tab. So for the low, we grab the EV to revenue as the current trading multiple. We grab the low, we grab the mid, and we also grab the high. We grab the higher for the current trading multiple, and now we can now determine the implied enterprise value based on the 2021's revenue generated by Amazon to is comparable trading multiples. So for the implied enterprise value is going to be equal to, we take that total revenue, reference that cell with F1s, and we multiply that by our comparable trading multiples here. And we can fill that right to the end of the mid and the high. So we can do the same thing for the third-party business segment. So we can go to the financial statement and we grab for the third-party business segment. We can grab the revenue generated year in 2021's forecast period of roughly $110 billion. So we can grab that. And then for the